tremendous looking trophy.
Welcome to the number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Dylan Blight. Joining me, Asher Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here because what a week.
What a week. Ups and downs, you know, on
all fronts.
Yeah, on all the fronts, that's right.
Emotional roller coaster.
That's one way to describe it. The world's a funny place, you know? The world is a funny place. This week in the trophy cabinet, Rod's trophy for another PS-related film not going to release over... is it ever going to be made? Who knows? Silver trophy for our PlayStation PS5 predictions. Yep. A gold trophy, The Last of Us State of Play. And we hit a platinum, platty for PlayStation doing the right thing. So yeah, of course, everyone should know by now. If you don't, then you're kind of living under a hole. But PlayStation originally announced on Friday, I think it was like early Friday morning, which is weird. Yep. I thought it was a weird time to announce anything because not much usually gets announced on Fridays, like be it actual news or...
Well, it would have been Thursday in America. So
I guess. Usually everything seems to happen either like Monday,
earlier
Tuesday,
in the week,
Wednesday. Though, yeah. So they announced they were doing the PS5 event. It was supposed to happen this coming Friday at 6 a.m. Australian time. They then tweeted out, what's today? Tuesday. Yeah. They then tweeted out Tuesday morning, we have decided to postpone the PlayStation 5 event scheduled for June 4th. While we understand gamers worldwide are excited to see PS5 games, we do not feel that right now is a time for celebration, and for now we want to stand back and allow more important voices to be heard. I don't think there's anything much to be said about it, apart from that's the right decision, so... Yep. You know?
Yep.
Like, it's one of those things where I'm like, okay. Like, if I looked in the comments, and I did because of course I like punishing myself, I read these people getting upset, and you know when you read someone that has an opinion that's just so polar opposite to you and so like crazy that you literally cannot understand how to even get in the headspace to get like that upset about a thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I do a fucking PlayStation podcast. What do? You're just on Twitter, bro. Get the hell out of here, you know? Like... If everyone else is able to chill, but this is one of those things where it's not like, oh, I don't even want to frame it as this is disappointing, but I guess it's the same thing to do. I don't even think it's like that disappointing because I already felt like it was going to be weird anyway. I mean, I was happily going to watch it,
yeah,
and like take it in, suck it up or whatever. But you know, as the riots and protests or whatever, like the combination of both, of course, which by the way, people, they are separate things. They picked up, it did become growingly clear that's like, man, this is going to be really weird if we get closer to Thursday, Friday and America's fucking on fire and then everyone's like, come celebrate video games. I also think the key standout point for this is that it's from a Japanese company. So it's kind of a big deal for them to...
Yeah, it's from a Japanese company. The headquarters in America. A lot of their studios are based in America. So, I mean, it is very much an American company as well. Purely cynically, it's the most sensible marketing move. You don't want to put out any big information during this time period, I would think, and then run the risk of people calling you insensitive and that kind of thing. It's better to side on the side of caution in this situation. It seemed to be mostly people from elsewhere in the world that are pissed off that it's not happening. To which say, it's 2020. What do you expect? This year has been shit. So
yeah, it's. I think also the key thing that doesn't even people should calm down about is we spent nearly 6 months just waiting to know if there was ever even going to be an event, and now everyone should just be sort of happy that at least you know there is one coming soon.
Yeah,
you just have to wait a little bit longer, you know, maybe only a week. I don't know. Maybe
it's pre-recorded. They could literally drop it anytime they want.
I don't know if it is pre-recorded.
Is it? I thought it was.
I don't know. I might have missed that in the memo. I was wondering if it was or not, or it might have been a combination.
I mean, that would make it more of a reason not to show up, seeing as that entire country is almost on lockdown.
Yeah.
Another type of lockdown.
Yeah. All types of lockdown. Yeah. can't get past it. And then 100%, I better admit that I had a slight part of happiness from this. Purely, I better admit it before.
Okay.
To voice my, to get my demons out, because I am going to get my wisdom teeth out Friday morning, and that I would have had to have left shortly after the event ended, which meant that I was going to miss out on recording any sort of podcast material, writing anything. Like I wasn't going to be allowed to be part of the
conversation,
the hype in the moment, all that. And that was, I'm going to say right now, that was actually legit getting me down and annoying me. Like, it's for people who, some people might be like, why? And I'm like, you don't really understand. It was just one of those things. I'm like, I do fucking.
What episode is this?
You do so many episodes of this podcast.
63?
Yeah, 163 episodes, right? And thinking about all the ones where there's not much news and you push through and you just do it, you fucking, you keep the wheels on the machine kind of thing, and that's how these weekly shows based around news work sometimes, where you just kind of, you got to do what you got to do, and you do it because that's part of what everyone does. And then the one really big one for the year, one of the big ones for the year, I was going to miss out. I was like, kind of, it was making me a little bit sad. So two parts on this. I think it's the right decision, but also I'm personally happy on my own reasons, and I might as well admit it. Why not?
So thank you.
I ain't saying that because
PlayStation for doing the right thing.
If I could pick, I would happily still miss out on watching it and have everything in America be going better. Like if I could pick between missing out and just having like Trump walk out and put his hands up and be like, I surrender. I would take the L and miss out on this to have that happen. But that's not going to happen. So I'm just happy that I will hopefully now get to be part of the conversation.
Well, I'm disappointed that you're not missing it because I had a ton of jokes lined up and it was going to be great.
I'm sure you did.
Oh, he just doesn't care about this PlayStation announcement. Fake fan. They didn't talk about trophies. He's boycotting it.
I was going to make a tweet. Like if I had to rush out of here and I don't tweet anything, and then say I get drugged up and I'm just fucking like AFK for like 24 hours, and I was just going to tweet the next morning like, oh, sorry, I didn't tweet about it. I was so shocked by the news that I was knocked out for 24 hours or something. Yeah, that was going to be my thing. Anyway, so that's that. There's not much, as I said there's not much to say about it, then we spent 5 minutes talking about it, but it's the right thing to do. It pleases me because it makes my life easier.
Selfishly, yeah.
Yeah, selfishly, 100% selfishly, but I'm like, why not admit it? It's not like I'm saying that I feel like I can be in both camps, the right thing to do, but also selfishly a little bit happy. But as I said, if Trump wants to swap, if Trump wants to walk out and say, hey, can someone come in and do my job for me who will actually help fix the country? Then I'll swap. I'll miss out on the PlayStation.
I think we'd all like to live in that alternate universe.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just putting the offer out there. If anyone wants to help make that happen, gods of the world or whatever. But what we are going to do, because we was planning to do it anyway, and it's like we don't know if the event could happen a week from now. We don't know if it could happen 2 weeks from now. Who knows? But we was going to do 5 predictions anyway, so might as well do them now because, as we said,
get in early.
Yeah, get in early. Now, I feel like there are a couple easy ones here, so I feel like we should do some sort of system to decide who goes first and gets the easy point. So if I get here you go. Pick I got a dice roll, right? Pick. Do you want to go 10 or above or 10 and under? Like the highs or the lows?
Lows.
All right, roll dice. You go first. It was a 1.
It's a 1, yeah.
Yeah, you get to go first. All right, so you can start off.
Number 1, I feel like it's a given. Gran Turismo 7 is going to be shown. I mean, at the launch of every single console, has to be some sort of racing game, and Gran Turismo is PlayStation's flagship racing game after the death of what was it, Drive Club?
Motorsport? Oh, Drive Club? Yeah.
Yep. Don't think they've got any other racing franchises. So yeah, Gran Turismo.
I was about to say because I don't think Gran Turismo was at the PS4 thing. It was Drive Club.
Yeah. And then Sport came sometime not long after.
Yeah, but it wasn't like the big. It was a weird because it was usually Gran Turismo's super associated to PlayStation.
Well, I think they released one right at the end of the PlayStation.
They did. It was a prologue thing though. Like it was one of those like GTA 6 prologue G-Spec 3rd edition. I don't know. Like fucking I can't keep up with these racing games or Gran Turismo anyway. I'm hoping that they're not even making Gran Turismo. I hope they're just moving on to a different franchise and trying to make something else. No. Yeah, probably not. Or maybe a reboot. Change the way up. Because I can tell you,
Gran Turismo.
I can tell you this now. They're not going to win the fight against Forza with the way they're making these Gran Turismo games at the moment.
I don't know. Maybe they switch things up.
Maybe. I hope so. They won't win.
What? Because they're not open world?
The Forza team is literally on like a 2-year rotation or whatever. Like. Between the motorsport games and the Horizon games. So they have like one every coming out every 2 years. Gran Turismo's over here just going like, we'll put out one every
generation.
Once a console, like maybe 2, maybe 1.5. But you're probably right. There probably will be Gran Turismo game anyway. What do I feel like? Because another easy one. Let's just go with the Horizon one. So Horizon Zero Dawn sequel is revealed as the major big tentpole PS5 game. I know there's obviously lots of franchises people want to pull from to say that they think this is, but there's been rumors about this one the most. There's been talk of several voice actors saying they've been back, or letting slip all things that made it sound like they've been recording stuff over the last 12 months or so. So there's lots more to pick for this one. And also, if you want to pick between like Horizon, Spider-Man, God of War, I guess they're the big three. It's like which one is most likely to have a sequel? Horizon.
The one that came out first, yeah.
It's the oldest. So yeah, that one obviously makes the most sense. And also, I think it is a good tentpole launch franchise because it's kind of a game that you could potentially pitch to a wider audience. Like I feel like God of War's super violent. It's more like a quote unquote hardcore gamer game, I guess. And Spider-Man could fit that bill, but it's just not going to happen. So Horizon could kind of fit the bill of they could try and pitch it towards new audiences and hardcore fans as well. Go for a bit of everything. And then again, we've got the PC release of the first game coming out, so they can use that as teasers, something like that. Yeah, so I feel like that's kind of, to me, seems like the safest bet for that one. But yeah. What's your next one?
Next one on my list is the new Blue Point game. So obviously we've been building towards this all year. What's it going to be? They've been dropping vague hints as to what their potential thing is going to be. So I mean, Blue Point is pretty much associated with PlayStation. I feel like PS5 launch, it makes sense to announce whatever game it is, whether it be Demon Souls, whether it be Legends of Dragoon, whether it be Twisted Metal, some dormant franchise.
I can't remember all of those.
All the ones we've been told off that they need to be.
Yeah. I feel like that could also very much be a thing because, we know it's happening.
Yeah.
They keep teasing it as their biggest game ever, which is something to be said when they remade Shadow of Colossus. And then also that teaser, that tweet, that was like around E3 last year, wasn't it? I think. From memory.
I think so.
Yeah, where they had like set out this real cryptic tweet and it had 6 to 8 games or something like that in the name, including all those ones you just said and some other ones. So I think that's definitely a bet. You still have no idea if it's gonna. Do you reckon it's actually one of those ones, or do you reckon it's something else that's not even teased in that tweet?
No, it's definitely something that was teased.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it'll be a super troll if it's something completely different.
I hope it is. I hope it's nothing they've even teased.
It's actually Resistance Trilogy remastered, remade.
See, here's my problem. They've built it up to be so big, where they're like, it's the biggest thing biggest project we've ever done. And even if they remade all the Resistance games, I'd be like, I don't feel like that's as big as remaking Shadow of Colossus.
It's actually Rockstar's Agent. They made it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Someone had
Is
to
that big
finish
enough?
there was supposed to be a PlayStation exclusive game for the
Yeah.
PS3 or whatever. So yeah, sure, go for it. I can get down. Let's go. There. See, I wrote down a few, but I don't really know. And I've got like two in here that are probably just the worst decisions to say, but also just I like chucking out a wishful thinking one. All right, I'll go with EA teases something at the event. Oh, hold on, this one might not be relevant by time. Oh, I'm changing mine. No, I can't commit to that one because the timing wise, it might not make sense anymore. No, I don't think I did it. Yeah, I'm changing it. I'll go with they release a 2 to 3 minute trailer inside the event that shows the PS5, shows the UI and other features, although they promise to dive into all of these things further down the road. So by that, I mean, if they're going to be showing a bunch of gameplay trailers and CGI trailers for games and whatever else, that during it they will release a hype trailer that shows you the console, it shows its UI, it shows all these sorts of things, and then of course they can cut that out and upload it separately to the YouTube channel and use it for promotion or whatever else, these sorts of things. But they're not going to go super heavy into explaining about everything that's in the system in this. They'll just be like, give you snippets of it, and you'll see like little screenshots of how it's working, and they're like, yeah, we'll be diving into that in a state of play, PS blog post, something. I feel like during the event they're going to do lots of little stick pins in lots of little things because they've already said when they announced this event that they will be doing more going forward. So it's like, okay, so they show this, explain more later, show this, explain more later, announce this game, do a PS blog post for it later, like lots of stuff like that. So I'll go with that one. That's how I think they show the console. What do you got?
What have I got? Silent Hills. I think we get a tease of Silent Hills at the very least. Obviously, it's been rumored to be a PlayStation project for a while now. I don't think it's the one that's any way connected to Hideo Kojima, but Silent Hills, a horror franchise to launch the new console.
Is that your tagline for it? Do you think a horror franchise launched?
That's on the box. PS5's flag. Brand new horror franchise.
I feel like that's a wild swing. So I'll give you my horror wild swing
because I think they're all wild ones at the moment. We've nailed all the big ones.
This is my dream, but also you never know. Bloodborne 2 teaser trailer. Bloodborne 2. That's all I reckon. No gameplay, no like proper trailer, teaser trailer. Bloodborne 2, PS5. Bam. Internet goes wild.
Internet goes meh.
No, fuck no. People would go crazy for that.
Yeah.
Bloodborne's the one everyone wants.
It's surprising.
I know they're working on the George R.R. Martin thing or whatever, but that's like I don't really know how big their team is, and also that game's been published by Bandai Namco or whatever.
Yep.
That's like the multi-platform deal they've got going on over there with like they did with Sekiro. That's not to say they couldn't have been working on Bloodborne all these years for PlayStation as another exclusive, especially because I feel like Bloodborne did so well for Sony that Sony may have even chucked money at them and said, make the fucking game. Like
please,
everyone wants it. Do us a solid over here. So I feel like that's a wild swing, but maybe not as wild as one of my other predictions. Which I may or may not use. Depends how I'm feeling when we rotate back to me. What is your fourth one?
What am I going to go with? We're going to see the new Housemarque game. The one that's the most ambitious title to date. Obviously, recently they announced they weren't going to do twin stick shooters anymore, or like those kind of games.
They got back to them, I thought.
No, I don't think. I can't remember. They announced Stormdivers, which was meant to be our battle royale game that was meant to be released last year. No, I think they just put it on hold while they worked on this other project.
I played it. I can't talk about it.
Oh, okay.
They had a beta for it, but they made you sign NDAs for it.
Yeah. So I reckon they show their new game because Housemarque obviously also very much tied to PlayStation with like Super Stardust and Alienation and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they popped up.
Go for an indie pool for the thing. All right. I don't know which one. Do I go for? I've got 2 left. Do I go for a haymaker, wild swing? Do I go for like more of a safe bet type thing? All right, let's go. I'll go with maybe a safe one. Then we'll swing large in a second. I'll go. There are technically 4 SKUs. A 1 terabyte with black and white, and then a 2 terabyte with a black and white. So there's technically 4. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you can pick to get the 1 terabyte with a black or white console, 2 terabyte with a black or white console. Because that's what I'm going with. I'm going with that they've got 2 colors.
Yeah, I don't care about the colors, but whether they'll have 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte, that's interesting.
Well, how big do you think?
Because I feel like the price will be significantly different between the two. So,
yeah, maybe like $50 to $100. I don't know, but how if you
really,
I feel like it's
for
given there'll be
SSD hard drive. I feel like the price difference would be significant.
How big do you think they'll be then?
I think it'll just be a terabyte. But
just one console. It's just 1 terabyte.
Yeah. And then you can get external ones, even Sony branded ones with their decals on them, like their Last of Us Special Edition external hard drive.
Yeah, no, that thing's terrible. I don't like this. I feel like there has to be like imagine how big the game files are going to go in the future. Just because they load faster doesn't mean they're going to be smaller. They're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, bigger. I need 2 terabytes now. I have 1 terabyte in my fucking PS4. It's a struggle street. You know how big these game capture files are?
Yeah, but they're going to be smaller apparently.
I saved some fucking Apex sick kills. Next second I've lost like 50 gigabytes.
That's what you need the external hard drive for. You can store them all on there.
Yeah, but it takes forever to copy them off. It's so slow.
Not with this new SSD.
No, I need them saved on the SSD to copy off fast. Not a normal hard drive. They take so long to copy off. Here, PlayStation, copy this like 2 gigabyte file off. Yeah, sure. It'll take you 20 minutes. Anyway, I'm going with that. I feel like I can also technically get a 0.5 point in there. That's one of those tricky predictions where there's way for a 0.5.
There is a black and a white. Oh.
Yeah. See how we go. What's your last one?
New Ratchet and Clank, I think. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. Insomniac, obviously, now part of the fold. They're a massive team. It makes sense for them to have some sort of Ratchet and Clank game kick off the PS5 generation.
Wouldn't it be like... Because if they do another Ratchet and Clank, are they not just doing a remake?
Remake
of the
2, or is it a remaster of the PS3 games that never came to PS4? Who knows? But some sort of Ratchet and Clank on the PS5.
I feel like they can nearly just take like 2 and 3 and like delete some levels and smush those 2 games together, kind of thing.
Yeah,
call it something new. Go for it, because I really liked Ratchet and Clank, and I think they made that the remake or whatever it's called. They made it better than the original one because they don't hate each other anymore. So key event. All right, I'll swing wild with my last one because I put in my super safe. I've put in a couple super safe ones. So I'll go. PSVR 2 is revealed. It comes with the console in its own bundle or can be purchased separately. They're playing another event the following week to fully dive into the everything the PSVR 2 has to offer. Look, you're shaking your head. No. I said I'll swing in wild.
Yeah, on mine I said no PSVR. Right, no VR at all.
That's
because I was thinking, what's another franchise they could do a sequel for?
Sad.
Astrobot? No, they're not going to do any VR in this. Makes no sense to announce a PS5 game for VR that can't be played on PS4 at the moment.
See, but the way I'm pitching it is they just announce it to get so that people who care about it know that it's there, but because they know that this event's for like the major that may or may not care, they're like, it's here, but we're not talking about it until next week. So it's kind of like a teaser trailer for an event next week. That's how
I don't think they announce anything till well after Iron Man VR's out.
Let me tell you something, Ash. Let me put this to you right now. I'm changing my prediction. If they do not announce PSVR 2, I'm going to drive to PlayStation Australia's headquarters when the borders open. And I'm going to cross water and land. And I'm going to drive right inside. And I'm going to stick my Move controllers so far up someone's ass that they have to announce the PSVR 2. You get what I'm saying?
PlayStation Australia, you've been warned.
Damn right. Those things look like sex toys anyway.
Get your security ready.
I'm over it.
I mean, the borders aren't going to open for ages, so it's not too much of a concern.
No,
Yeah, it could be announced by then.
Cinemas are open. Borders are
aren't
open.
though. No, they're not.
Cafes are open. Yeah, like our borders, not international borders.
No.
Yeah,
Still not our borders.
Yeah, they're totally going to open soon. You watch. You want a prediction? You want to drop a last prediction? I predict the borders, the what do you call it? Domestic? Yeah.
Yeah, domestic borders.
Domestic borders will open before the end of July.
I'll take that bet. It'll be after.
So I'm going by the July 31st at 11:59:59, and I bet you they open on the 1st of August at 6.
All borders is what you're saying.
All right. Yeah, okay. 70% Australia. You still taking it?
Yeah, sure.
All right. You have bigger faith in this country
This
than
is
I do.
odd.
Is it? Why?
No, this is just odd conversation having this PlayStation podcast. When Australian borders are going to open.
It's related.
It's related because
I need them to open for me to be able to drive to PlayStation.
All right. Do you want my other crazy predictions?
Yeah, okay. These ones don't count.
Let's check them out. Don't count. Kingdom Hearts. Some sort of Kingdom Hearts game coming for PS5. They haven't announced any Kingdom Hearts game or Final Fantasy game, and it's weird for there not to be one somewhere on the horizon.
You're about 10 years too early, I think, but that's okay.
Yeah. God of Monsters. Ubisoft sees that as to what it's actually going to be. COD, whatever CODs. Yeah, but that's still like a month or two away, and they usually like reveal everything they're going to do beforehand. Obviously, the thing you're leading towards, Star Wars, some sort of Star Wars game. I think they might still wait because they've got their EA thing coming up.
Yeah, so mine. And the reason I didn't say mine was because EA Play is on this coming. No, it's next week or is it this week? Fuck, hold on. I've got my calendar open here somewhere. I think it is this coming. No, next Friday. It's on at 9 a.m. So in case you didn't know that, I'm happy to help you all keep up with this stuff because that's my
currently.
job. That's currently when it's on. It's on next Friday at 9 a.m. is when EA Play is supposed to be on. And the reason I wouldn't predict mine now is because originally I thought, they could. My prediction was going to be they tease with a CGI trailer, announce what Project Maverick is, and then announce that EA Play they do gameplay for it.
Yeah, like last year they did like a proper deep dive on like all their games that are coming out. So yeah, that makes sense. I didn't realize it was so soon. I thought it was like another month or so.
No, it's only a week.
Hang on. I think I said no price, no set release date. COD for this year. I feel like wouldn't be surprised to see it there. And then of course, NAC 3.
NAC 3. The dream, hashtag the dream.
Dream.
So I think I only had 2 I didn't say. Yeah. The only other ones I had left were to help explain the speed better, they'll show the console boot up, launch a game, and begin playing in quick succession. And that may be how the stream starts. I feel like that'd be a cool way to just kind of go for it. And then the last one I had as a safe one was Apex/Fortnite, one of them or both of them included in some part of the show to make sure the people that just play those games are aware that it's going to be on the next console.
Next gen.
Yeah. And if I had to put money, I would have said Fortnite probably. Anyway, those are our predictions for the PlayStation 5 reveal event thing whenever that happens. So keep track on those, and we'll find out who wins probably this month. Let's put that big of a gap on it. All right, so I've got a couple other news stories to go over. First one comes from Pressy Start. Who says, according to a report originally published by Eurogamer, recently released developer documentation has revealed that all new PlayStation 4 games submitted for certification after July 13th will also need to be fully functional on the upcoming PlayStation 5. The document further elucidates what is meant by a title being PS5 compatible, reiterating that a game deemed compatible with the PlayStation 5 must run without any issues on the new console and must provide the same features on the PS5 that it does on the PS4. This requirement will make sure that game developers can't simply flag the game as compatible and then ship a PlayStation 5 version of the game without support for certain features or modes that operate on the PlayStation 4. It's worth noting that these requirements won't apply to games that have already established a release date after July 13th, such as Ghost of Tsushima, only to games that have been yet to certified for sale by Sony. So basically, I think the important thing from this story that stood out to me is the fact that if that's what Sony's expecting from all developers who's putting in anything for cert following July, that means that all developers are going to have access to PS5 dev kits by July.
Yep.
If not already, So that's how that's working. That's how that was my reading between the lines of what's going on there, kind of thing. And that's good to see because obviously PlayStation has previously talked about the fact that they had that list of the 100 most played games that they were super optimizing to work for the PS5, where they would potentially run at high frame rates and these sorts of things, but then they were also trying to make sure that as many PlayStation 4 games will simply just play on the console. But then it's if a developer releases a game on PS4, it may or may not play. Do they release a PS5 version of it? Do they just expect people to put in the PS4 version? I don't know. It's kind of getting a bit weird, but at least that now that they've stuck that rule in, anything you buy towards later in the last half of the year, you should expect it to also be perfectly fine for PS5. Okay. So then we got, of course, the State of Play happened last week. Last of Us State of Play. I'm going to be honest, I was originally going to do a bonus episode because I was Last of Us State of Play, I'll do a bonus episode plat, give my thoughts on it or whatever. But after watching it, I was like, there's not really that much to talk about, if anything. And also, I don't really feel like this was necessary. I don't really understand why they did it, in my opinion. It was mostly with the later half of it, the gameplay demo they showed was just nothing super exciting. It showed, it was more it looks great. Looks like it plays great. We've kind of seen all this sort of stuff before. And then the first half when Neil Druckmann was explaining
the world and that
the world and certain features, he's like, hey, you can ride horses, you can do boats, Ellie has a rope to swing on now, Seattle's going to be part of it, you'll travel to different locations, there's going to be these wider, bigger open map sections, and you can kind of take on enemies from different directions and all this sort of stuff. It was obviously a big gameplay / game systems dive, but I do not feel like we needed it. I'm like, who was this for? I don't personally get it. And it also feels really weird that this is out while people are playing the game anyway. IGN's writing up news stories being like, here's what they talked about. I'm like, you already have people playing the game there. I'm sure you are aware that this is in the game or not. It's just odd.
Well, I feel like it's for people who don't keep up with news regularly. The casual Last of Us fan, I think. It seems it is a little odd when they're also doing these behind the scenes videos that they've been releasing pretty regularly about The Last of Us as well. There wasn't a lot yet. There wasn't a lot there that those of us who've been following the game didn't already know. But it was cool. It's a new segment. Yet a pretty solid taste of what the game is going to look like. Last of Us Part 2. Brutal. Just really hard. I think they kind of indicated very strongly as to how this game is going to start off. If you can't put the points together at this point, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, I feel like unless they're just chucking out red herrings and it's going to surprise me, I feel like I kind of pieced together how the game starts, but
what are you going to do, yeah?
I'm happy to be surprised at this stage, I guess. And yeah, another thing about this demo is it really is, if you walked into a room and you'd never, like, you didn't know what The Last of Us was, you didn't know who Ellie was, if she was like a good person or a bad person, this demo really is like you're playing the villain.
Yeah.
Like, she literally, the key part, the most memorable part from the trailer for the gameplay for several reasons, was the fact she, like, swims. That's important because, of course, they confirm she can swim. Everyone's like, yeah. And then she comes up out of water, sneaks up on someone playing the PS Vita, because that's a thing, apparently, that exists in year 2038 or whatever.
Yeah.
They're playing Hotline Miami, which was great. And I love, because that was one of those things where I heard the music, and I'm like, sounds like Hotline Miami. Because I listened to I have the soundtrack and stuff. It's one of my favorite video game soundtracks. I'm like, fucking Hotline Miami. And then they confirmed afterwards when Hotline Miami Twitter account's like, you can buy Hotline Miami on PS Vita now, or something like that. They posted on Twitter. I was like, that's quite funny. But yeah, she sneaks up on this random person playing the Vita and then just like slits their throat. And if you didn't know anything, you'd be like, are you playing the bad guy? Like, it's just very brutal and the person she kills doesn't seem or look like your typical bad guy. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
And I guess that's part of The Last of Us's. It feels weird to say appeal, but like they don't. For most of the enemies, it seems like the human, the militia or whatever group we've got going on, because they are supposed to be just everyday people. A lot of these people could have been fucking lawyers, doctors, or whatever, and then the world fell into shit, and they've joined this militia group or whatever. That they're not going to look like your stereotypical video game baddie,
Yeah.
Like, which is usually one of two things, but often just do-bro military types with bald haircuts and muscles and shit like that, so that's interesting. But other than that, like, it was enjoyable to watch, but I was confused why we needed it as a state of play, especially given what you said, which was, they are doing these behind-the-scene dev diary things or whatever they're called, which I'm not watching because I'm like, I don't need that much information. And this felt like it could have been one of those.
Yeah.
Not this. The only other really big piece of information I got out of it, which may be relevant when they eventually announce the multiplayer component, was they announced the two factions and their names, which if they ever announce a multiplayer part, this will be important because this is the two factions you'd probably be playing as in the multiplayer component. And the first one is the Washington Liberation Front, which is the WLF. And they explained that they originally fought and overtook Seattle from the military occupation, and now they basically just hold control of the city and want to kill any outsiders. And then the other group's called the Seraphites, and they're a religious cult who cut symbols into their body and use stealth to their advantage. So I like the way that they're very polar opposites, I guess, in a lot of ways. You got one like stealthy type and whatever else. And I'm sure they'll be fun to play against in the game or whatever, but thinking about multiplayer, it does excite me a little bit more because one of my complaints about The Last of Us multiplayer is it doesn't really matter which side you pick. You can use the same weapons, you can just play the same. Whereas if they do The Last of Us multiplayer now, it's like if you pick to play as a WLF, maybe you're getting more, just straight up typical guns and body armor and this sort of stuff. And if you click to play as the Seraphites, you get bows, you get more skills that help keep in cover and like hide the noise you make and these sorts of things. So I feel like that could be exciting if that's what I'm reading heavily in between the lines, of course, but also I feel like it's what would make sense if they do that. Anyway, PlayStation Plus has revealed their full PlayStation Plus games. Of course, last week they put out Call of Duty World War II early because people were still shitty about last month's games. And then they revealed the second one as Star Wars Battlefront 2. So this month, they've literally gone from calm sim farming games, city skylines to here, have two fucking multiplayer shooters. Is this what you people want? You want hard, quote unquote, real games? Here, have the multiplayer shooters.
Nobody's going to be in the mood for military shooters, I don't think.
No, probably not, no. But Star Wars, though, I guess, is, different. Well,
about an oppressive
Yeah, but
oppressive regime and the rebellion fighting against it.
yeah, maybe it'll help inspire though. You know, it's fantasy enough to inspire. Maybe.
Yep, maybe. I think this ties into my possible predictions for the event that there would have been a COD and it probably would have been a Star Wars game.
Maybe
announced at the event, so it would have been a nice.
Maybe there still could be. We don't know how long it's.
There still could be.
You know. Which are you going to play either of these? Do you care for either of these?
I might jump back into Battlefront. At least it lets me, when I can, return. When you can trade in, trade in that game. Seeing as I got it now, so it's probably not going to get much for it. But.
No, I traded mine in ages and ages ago, and then I bought it when it was on digital sale for like $15 or something. But I made a profit at the time, like I traded it in for like 30 or something, you know, and bought it for 15. So that worked out well. By the way, here's what I'll say. Like I haven't played Call of Duty World War II. I don't know if I'll bother playing it. Maybe or maybe not. If I do, it'll just be running through the campaign and, you know, the 4 to 6 hours it takes and moving on with my life. Star Wars Battlefront 2, I know everyone still likes to shit on it. And, you know, I'm not going to say, I'm not saying it wasn't terrible at launch. It was terrible at launch. I have played the game. I got it on launch. They had the microtransactions that everyone always likes to bring up. The microtransactions. Oh, they ruined the game. That was probably solved after the first... Or it begun its road to being solved about month and a half, 2 months after release. I mean, the story goes that literally John Boyega rang up fucking... what's the head of Disney? Fucking... damn it. I can't remember his name. Head of Disney. I read his fucking book. Can't remember his goddamn name. Whatever. This is gonna annoy me for the rest of the fucking day. Anyway, apparently he rang up the head of Disney, was like, hey, this game's fucked. Can you get on the phone and tell EA to get this shit out of the game? And then apparently that's what happened. That's the...
You're talking about John Boyega?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how the story goes. I don't know if that's the only... of course, there's probably more to it than that because there was heaps of fan outcry. But he did go on Twitter and complain about the game and then said he was going to call up old mate. And apparently he did. And then apparently he rang EA and was like, what the fuck? People complaining about the Star Wars game. Fix it. That's how the story goes. Anyway, so Star Wars Battlefront 2 these days is a lot better. You've got heaps of new characters. You've got years of DLC that you probably haven't played that's all free. New maps, new characters, new skins, all this sort of stuff. The way you unlock this sort of stuff is still within that in-game loot box system, but it's not asking you for real-world money consistently like it did at launch. It's just a way for you to still unlock it in-game, which is kind of what Predator does anyway, but the unlocks in Battlefront 2 I'd say are more exciting. So I think if you hated it at first, I think you should give it a try. And also the campaign is okay. I think the DLC for the single player is actually a lot more exciting, where, spoilers, you play as the daughter of the main character from the single player, and that's really cool. So I don't know. I think that costs money. I actually can't even remember if it costs money, but if it does, it's worth buying. It's like decent single player DLC. So my pick of the month would be Star Wars. What would yours be?
Yeah, probably Star Wars.
Fair. And then our last story for the week is that where are we at? PlayStation Lifestyle writes, report The Last Guardian film adaptation and development at Sony Pictures, currently casting 4 roles. Beloved PlayStation exclusive, The Last Guardian may be getting a film adaptation if the latest reports are to be believed, written by Godzilla and Kong Skull Island director Max Bornstein. The Last Guardian... What?
He's a writer. He's not the director.
Well, oh, sorry, I said the wrong thing. Writer. The Last Guardian movie is said to still be in development at Sony, casting for 4 main roles. The Last Guardian film news comes from film industry insider Daniel Richtman? Sure. Reported by Full Circle Cinema, the report indicates they're currently casting a 12-year-old for the role of Boy, the game's main character who befriends the Trico named Tree, who is also apparently being cast somehow. How exactly the casting of Tree will work is unclear, as there are no additional details for this particular role. I doubt Sony will actually find Trico walking willing to audition for the role, but hey, Andy Serkis can play anything. Good joke. 2 additional characters named Ariana and Udia, something like that. Also been cast looking for a 27-year-old woman and a 30 to 39-year-old man, respectively. These characters are parents looking for their daughter Mono, who is missing. It's suspected that she may have been kidnapped by a Trico, much the same way that Boy was in the Last Guardian game. According to the report, quote, the two will play a supporting role in the film as they travel with Boy and Tree. Fun fact, the name, Udea, is an Easter egg to the game's creator. For me too.
Ueda.
Yeah. That's actually probably right, yeah. It's one of those things where I'm like reading it wrong, but as soon as I see it in the context of that, I'm like, oh wait, I know how you say that. I don't. Yeah. Anyway, so do you reckon this one's actually going to happen? Do you reckon it would make a good movie? A movie about a kid traveling with a giant bird beast? Do you reckon that's a good sell?
It could be. I mean, there's been success with films with giant beasts and little children.
Yeah, Jungle Book.
Jungle Book.
Mowgli.
Pete's Dragon movie was pretty good, apparently.
You got him. Success. Love it.
Clifford and the Big Red Dog is very popular.
Yeah, so. Exactly. This is true. Very, very true.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening.
It's just a weird one.
I feel like the money that's necessary to make this happen, like to actually get a good-looking Trico and make a good-looking Trico in a movie work, I just don't know if they would be willing to spend and use. Because if you get the thing with making a movie where the main character is this giant bird-like creature and you want it to be something that the audience gets super attached to, you need it to be super animated. You need it to be, super realistic looking and everything like that. So,
I mean, it'd be interesting to see because it would be very different to the style of the actual film, the game.
That's true.
Very cartoony, that kind of thing.
Yes. Would be interesting. But also at the same time, we've had so much trouble with the Uncharted movie. Sony's like literally opened that film and TV division, and then they've just kind of announced things, or like started kicking into gear things, but nothing ever happens. So we'll see if that actually.
No, that's how the film industry works.
Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, that'll do it for this week's episode of Platinum Explosion. You can follow us on Twitter by heading to explosionnetwork.com/Twitter. You can suggest topics or send the questions for the show by emailing mail@explosionnetwork.com with the subject line Platinum Explosion. Until next week, there may or may not be a thing. Remember that every trophy counts. Hey, don't forget you can subscribe to the show wherever you're currently listening, and you can drop a review if you can. Find more great shows like this and more content over at explosionnetwork.com, and please consider supporting us for as little as $1 over on our Ko-fi page by heading to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thanks for listening.